Final question, and we'll begin with Congressman Farr. Can a democracy survive in an entitled society? Why and how?
Would you define what is it? I've never heard the expression entitled society.
I believe the word is basically replacing socialism. So it'd be, if I reworded it probably correctly, it'd be, can a democracy survive on a socialistic agenda, which, from what I understand, and this question was posed, so I'm not the original author of this question. So how?
Well, I guess you put it in that broad note. Not understanding what entitled society does. We do have some elements of socialism in America. We have a public school system that everybody can go to. Medicare is essentially a single payer and a social plan that you all pay in and the government pays the bills, but you choose your doctor. I mean, there are forms of progressive social thought in our democracy. I always think it takes a balance. I'm elected to represent 3 counties here, and I don't have a day go by where I don't try to think what we're doing in Congress and in Washington, D.C., how does that affect the 17th Congressional District, and try to make sure that the largesse of our responsibilities here, whether it be military, we have 9 military establishments, the Defense Department spends $1 billion in Monterey County, and I work to make sure that the Naval Postgraduate School can stay here. Is the military a socialist structure? Created a new university because the best way to create jobs is to create a thinking, growing, educated society. That was Cal State Monterey Bay, Swords to Plowshares, working on the marine sanctuary because the ocean is a big asset. We have all these research, 24 different research areas. Agriculture, I've got strong support for agriculture because I've got an ag research station being rebuilt here. There's been the child nutrition bill. And there are a lot of things in this. I don't know whether those will be entitled in a climate society, but I do think that those are the ingredients that make this area work. And we have a bright future if we keep electing me to make sure that I am your best watchdog in Washington.
Thank you. Please.
I'll give you an example of an entitlement society. This is from the Jobs with Justice website that I sent this email. I'm not sure why I'm getting it, but Sam Farr, you were a co-sponsor of this bill, HR 4812. And according to this site, this bill would use about $75 billion of your dollars to create jobs. Only about $500 million of those would be in the private sector. $500 million of $75 billion. The rest would be government, all going to government training and government jobs. Now, no nation is going to survive when the number of working, contributing people continues to shrink and the number of people getting free lunch continues to grow. And not all these people are bad people that are, just riding our coattails, but there are a lot of people who are just collecting a lot of money and they're not contributing. The people that really help the communities, we can help them. We're a charitable nation, and we can help those people. But the people that just don't want to work or, need that extra something from the government, they're going to tear this country down. And when we're broke and this country completely falls apart, none of these people, none of us are going to get any help. I have an example of an entitlement character on my website. She's 58 years old. She's worked 1 year of her life. There's nothing wrong with her. She's worked 1 year of her life. She was upset and nearly caused a riot. Oh, darn. Well, you have to look. My Life in the Slums, 60-inch plasma TV and hardwood floors.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Could you ask the question again?
Sure. Can a democracy survive an entitled society? Why and how?
Well, I think we have to start with the question. As I stated earlier, the United States was not founded by our forefathers as a democracy. It's founded as a republic. A republic and a democracy are 2 different things. We have very much clouded the water of who and what the United States was founded on. Number 1. And I'm a little taken back from Congressman Farr's not understanding entitlements. I mean, that's what government has become. It's become one large entitlement program. That's why we have grown to the size that we are. That's why we no longer just serve and protect the people of the United States. We're a Titanic heading towards icebergs, and we need to become a PT boat so we can maneuver around them and get ourselves out of this debt and take care of providing opportunities, providing the proper environment for businesses to grow, for capital to be invested, for people like yourselves, for like the agricultural businesses here, not to keep shipping jobs down to Mexico because it's becoming so overtaxed, regulated, one thing after another. Every regulation, every tax that's put on businesses in America, it encourages them to go offshores, produce, and ship those products back here and sell them to us. That doesn't help our job economy, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. Mr. Kabat, would you please reply to this question? Thank you.
We are a republic, and I agree with Jeff on that. One of the problems, I'm from Chicago originally, and one of the problems that Chicago is currently having is that they have a situation in which they allow young women to not stay in school, to have children, do not marry, and get money for that. All right? And what's happened in Chicago is these entitlements have caused a class of children to create another class of children, which in turn has created a third class of children. They're now trying to break that cycle. We are a republic. Only about 49%, I shouldn't say that, 51% of our republic actually pays taxes. There are a lot of people that I do taxes for that don't pay income tax. It's Social Security and Medicare tax that kills them. And the bean counters, the Congressional Budget Office, has come out with a report. It came out with a report in June. They revised it in August. And I highly recommend that you read this report. I've got copies of the cover page to get you to it. It basically tells us there are two different budget scenarios that are laid out. And they talk about Medicare, cost of Medicare, and other costs of government. And they tell us where we're going. And we may not go very much longer. We may be sunk. I'll give these out at your leisure.
Thank you, Mr. Kabat.
Thank you.
And finally, my next questions.
Also, I'm not entirely sure what an entitlement society is, but for purposes of discussion, I'll just kind of assume it's Western European, Western socialism. There's a lot of countries in this world, Western Europe, Canada, Mexico, Cuba, Venezuela, we can just keep going, which have essentially not identical systems, but systems where they take care of their people. They try to make sure that everybody has education. They try to make sure that the kids go to the doctor when they're sick, and they make it so they're able to do so. I cited France as the #1 healthcare system in the world a few minutes ago. And I also mentioned the AARP article that about retiring in other places because they can get single-payer healthcare. Another magazine article I read recently in a different magazine quotes this guy who's living in Italy. His #1 reason for living in Italy was free healthcare. So if Italy can do it, if France can do it, if the United States, which is the only country to ever put people on the moon, if Italy and France and Germany and places like that can have effective healthcare, so can we. I was in Germany for 2.5 years when I was in the Army. I knew people in the Army who went to the German healthcare system because it was better than free healthcare in the Army. And they had a lot of good things to say about the German healthcare system. If they can do it, we can do it better.
Thank you, Mr. Petersen.